We're probably live, and we're just going to be gathering a crowd as we try to get the kinks out here. So if you can help me out, I'm going to locate my phone, and we'll see how this is working.
Yeah, that's the room if anybody can. I understand the audio's good on the room. It's in the chat room.
Okay, good.
Good. That's the beauty of me pulling this up on my own computer so I can kind of watch the chat room. Because I'd rather watch you up here on this screen.
So we're sharing our screen. Hi, everybody. You can hear us clearly, and it's not breaking up. Yes, that is correct. Okay, great. Start you the chat. How's that sound?
Well, I can kind of watch a little bit. When I get talking, I'm not good for watching it. But yeah, I'll watch it a little bit. I'll look at it time to time, but probably not as good as Rex is with it, or you by yourself. I don't know.
So we're here with Greg Allison, a friend of the channel, and also owner here of Gregg'sWormFarm.com. And you live out in the bayou, Greg. He is a graduate of the University of Alabama. He has been referred to, I believe, a redneck rocket scientist, among other things. And Greg, if you could you introduce yourself to the people watching and get them up to speed with what we're about to talk about?
We're going to talk about worm farming. So how I got into that is I've been a survivalist most of my life, trying to get our society to survive, and that's why I promoted space development. And talk about this first space redneck, if you look in my backyard, I've got the D6 run that got me labeled on the internet as the first space redneck years ago on another channel. But anyway, long before that TV show that came out, Rocket City Redneck, so you might know that guy too. But anyway, all that stuff aside, I asked myself, when I realized that it could really hit the fan faster than we can deal with as a society, that I needed to be able to take care of things on my own level. I said, what can I do on my own 2 feet, on my own 2 acres to make a living, a good living? And then I discovered worm farming, because with worms, if you look at, you can grow a pound of worms about twice a year, maybe 3. See, worms will reproduce every 2 to 3 months. They'll double their population. And you can grow a pound per square foot. Now, you don't want to harvest everything you produce. So if you think about it, you can probably harvest 2 pounds of worms per square foot a month. So if you've got a bed, a worm bed, say it's just a plywood box, and it's just a 4 by 8 foot, you got 32 square foot in there. You can be harvesting 64 pounds of worms a year out of a plywood box. And if you raise them right, I think I've done more than that on a few of mine. And you can see what he's got up there below. That's one of those plywood boxes. That's one of the early worm beds I built. That's in my front yard underneath a tree there. But anyway.
Yeah, something's happened.
So if you think, yeah, that's about as much meat as you can harvest from a cow if you think about a small cow. And once you got rid of all the other stuff, and a plywood box, it takes an acre to raise a cow. And worms are actually worth more pound for pound than cattle are. So I sell my worms. If you buy on there where it says buy red worms or more, where to click that, and it talks about number of counts. That first number count was 2,500. That's actually a pound of worms. I'll sell them or I ship them for $33. If you buy them locally, I'm selling them to you for $25 if you come pick them up. So that's a pretty good price per pound. And but it's worth it. They're great for your garden. You can compost your garden, your kitchen waste, and turn it back into the best stuff you'll ever put in your garden. Worm castings are awesome. It makes your garden grow like crazy. There's no other fertilizer like it. If you think about it, the thing about a worm poop is it's nature's own little self-made time-release nutrient pill. Because of the worm casting, it dissolves slowly over time. I plant plants and I set them out in pure worm castings. It will not burn them up like kelp, poop, or whatever else. The plants are great. They love it. Raise them. So I sell worm castings here locally. I sell worm. I don't ship it. But if you're here, I can sell worm castings, worm tea, and worms. But I ship worms all over the country. So if you're interested in worms, I've got what it takes. And like I said, it's great for recycling your kitchen waste. You can go bigger. If you really don't have to have a large garden, the thing about it is that you don't have to worry about fertilizer. If the crap hits the fan, well, you've got the crap. You got what you can recycle. Yeah, exactly. You can recycle wood chips, leaves, paper. Can be recycled through a worm bin and make the best compost, the best stuff you'll ever put in your garden and grow vegetables. If Donald's got my Facebook site, probably if you scroll through, I don't know if he has, but you can find some huge sweet potatoes I was growing a couple of years ago and just grow them in worm castings. People say, how'd you do that?
So Greg, let me interrupt. How much are these worms a pound on your website?
Okay, I sell them by the count on the website. The first count, the 22, that's actually a pound of worms, and it almost doubles every step there. The 5,000, let's see, that first count is $33. That includes shipping, a free guide on how to raise them, and I sent a pretty good guide out on how to raise your worms. And if you get questions, you can call me. It might take me a little bit to get back to return a phone call, or you can send me an email. The thing is, I do work late at my day job at NASA too, but I'll call you back. I'll get in touch with you, and I do send out the guide. It tells you everything you need to know. There's enough information on the website to get you started until you get the worms. They can sit in the shipping container for a few days to get everything set up if you need to have that. In fact, I had tornadoes hit after I got my worms here. We didn't have any power, and I had to redo some worm beds I had previously prepared earlier. We had a tree come down, and we had a major tornado come through my area. It was an EF5, and it came in the day after my worms arrived. All the power in my region here in North Alabama, and I was out of power 5 days. I don't know how they even managed to restore it so fast, given the damage to the lines that we had. This area was tore up. This was back in 2011. April 27th is when it hit. But anyway, so I got my worms day before, so I call them little red worms, red wigglers. So my red wigglers are little red twisters. But anyway, talking about Roy Spencer, by the way, I do know him. He's directly the one that convinced me that global warming is not happening. But I do promote global. I proudly promote global.
So Greg, let's talk about, it's easy to raise worms. My partner, for about $100, you can buy one of those nice little corner, 2x2 stackable worm systems that has a little faucet where you can get your compost tea out. It's a great way to get started. You can buy one on eBay for $100. Do you sell like a product like that? Or, because I'm here, I clicked on your website where you kind of describe pits and bathtubs and other areas. I always recommend using recycled things. What do you recommend?
Oh yeah, I'm all into recycling, but you can use old bathtubs. People throw them out all the time when they remodel houses. You can use a lot of different kind of tubs like you get from Walmart or Lowe's, and you can put them inside of each other. And you can use barrels, the 55-gallon barrels. Now, if you're up in a cold region like where Diamond lives, in-ground beds or something you can bring in the house or indoors into a garage or basement would be best. Now, you can raise them outdoors that have been raised in Canada in in-ground beds. You basically just dig a pit, probably about 3 foot deep at least, 2 foot. I've got some deeper than that, even my place, believe it or not. But anyways, so you dig a pit with blocks, concrete blocks, just build it where the moles can't get in there, anything that'll eat your worms. And then you have the block or whatever that's come about 2 foot above the ground. You want about 4 foot of clearance, from block to block. Remember, they're 8 inches thick, so You got 16 inches. So you use the regular blocks and add it to your 4 feet. So that's how wide you want it. And you can inside, but then you can cover it over in the wintertime. Just throw a bunch of hay and mulch and stuff. Just build a bed on top of it. Put a little bit in there, maybe a little manure. But the biological activity in the bed should keep the worms alive, even in parts of southern Canada. People have done it up there. So it's just when the snow falls on all that leaves and mulch, it's just making insulation, and there should be enough biological activity. Now, beds that you saw the picture, I do get north and south of Tennessee border. I find on mild winters I can raise them in the barrel halves outside. I raise all my worms outside. But cold winters, that don't work so well. The last 4 winters have been cold. So, and we're not seeing much relief in that, as you might notice too much time in the program. But those plywood boxes work great here. I've got about a foot thick of biomass in there. It's a thermal mass overall, and it's 32 cubic feet of biomass, thermal mass to both count, and especially if it's active. And I don't have any problems. So we get here, we can get down to single digits maybe 3 times in the winter where it stays below freezing 3 days. It's enough that water just sitting in a barrel outside 2 foot deep, which is deeper than what I got in those bins, but those bins are okay with that. The barrels, I lose about half my worms in a barrel like that. Barrels actually freeze through and through. I don't know how any of the worms survive it. I actually do get survivors in those barrels somehow, even when they're frozen up. But I don't like losing a lot of them, so I don't have any. They're all out of the barrels now. I've got them all in those plywood boxes, and I got some in-ground beds. I've got 3 in-ground beds I put worms in. I have some problems with raccoons raiding those right now. But there's always a lot of wild stuff that likes to eat worms. Worms are great for everything, and including game animals, unfortunately, which want to prey on them.
Barrel farm we're looking at here.
Oh, yeah.
On the side.
Yeah, those barrels were full at that time. That's the kind of barrels I was talking about, the food grade barrels, 55-gallon barrels. And they're setting up on a wooden frame I built. And there's little holes punched up for the worm tea, actually the leaf. And I put wet sand over those holes. Then I click in coffee cans, and I put it in a big, I got 2 big, I think they're 58-gallon olive barrels. And I have air stones in them, and I blow air in the corner. I got big air pumps. And I brew the worm tea that way. I feed molasses to the bacteria, so it's beneficial bacteria. And by blowing air, you have the aerobic oxygen-loving bacteria. Say a thimble full of worm tea has different species of organisms, 100,000 different species. So that cup, it's got about 10 times more active beneficial bacteria than an equivalent compost pile with good compost. So it's really amazing what it will do. If you put this stuff in the soil around your plants, the beneficial bacteria break down nutrients that's in the soil that become more readily available to the plant root. Some of the fungi particles can form mycelium networks, and the mycelium networks look like a neural network. The mycelium will actually transfer to the plants because plants and mycelium have a symbiotic relationship. Plants put sugars in the soil through the roots. Plants are always trying, whether it's there or not. In modern farming, they're feeding nothing. They're wasting energy trying to feed something that would kill gardens that most people are using. So the bird flower forest, spray in the forest to make it grow. Everything lives in a symbiotic relationship, and that's what we need in our gardens and on our farms, and we can return that by treating the gardens with worm tea. There are people that actually plow it into their subsoil, but you can do a lot by putting it on top. Like I said, that's what it does if you put it in the soil. This stuff has so many beneficial bacteria. It does a lot of stuff. If you spray it on the leaves of the plant, it fights molds, mildews, rust. It fights a lot of your soft-bodied bugs, like worms, soft-bodied insects, and the bacteria will actually attack some of them. You might enhance that if you add bacteria genesis, the BT stuff, that enhance it for worms. But on the leaves, it also picks up the nutrients that are already in the worm tea. So the worm tea is a very nutrient-rich solution, but it's not it's not something that scores so high on the. It's more the probiotic in your garden, but it will make tomatoes grow like mad. Worm tea is wonderful, but if you will make your own worm tea, worms, or find a worm farm that sells it. Not all worm farms that I do, but I sell worm tea. I sell worm compost, which is unscrubbed. Now the worm bells, the worm can screen, maybe a little bit of sandy worm beds, because they need the grit. So
yeah. So if you're listening out there, we're gonna share Greg's worm page. So, and if you need a source for worms, buy his worms. Let us know how it's working for you, and if he's got all the tips you need, you can get in touch with him. You could send him an email. I want to talk about the power grid defense and the conference that you run out there. Bring that up so that we can go there. Alabama Power Grid Defense Committee. Tell us about it. There it is.
Well, yeah. Like I said, I've been a prepper for a long time, but I realized that there's some threats associated with the power grid that I can't even survive as a prepper. There are 74,000 metric tons of spent fuel in the spent fuel rod cooling pools at the power plants in the United States alone. Actually, that number is a couple years old. There's over 74,000 metric tons. 45 pounds of nuclear material in every warhead on Earth, on average. And you assume 14,000 warheads. That's another 280 full-scale nuclear wars.
We would say a shit ton of warheads.
The sad thing is, this stuff is set in fuel rods that have a zirconium coating on them. And that zirconium, having been in the reactor, has been imbued with oxygen and hydrogen and is hot. That stuff burns on contact with air. They keep it under 20 foot of water, but the water evaporates at 160 gallons a minute. So they got these big engines, the water on the water tanks. They have backup generators. The backup generators are the engines like you would have in a local diesel submarine. They're huge motors. These nuclear power plants have several of these. Now they have maybe some fuel or 5 days to be able to keep everything going. But the problem is if the grid goes down, the supply chain starts breaking apart. The trucks start losing spare parts. They can't roll for long. And who else is going to have fuel? There's not going to be any fuel en route to refuel the trucks. And if you do have a truck running, it's going to be a target. You may remember the movie Mad Max. What was the Mad Max series about? Get the fuel truck. And actually, that sounds crazy, but that's already happened in Venezuela. And Venezuela is in a bad spot, but it's not as bad as Mad Max world. So if you think about it, these fuel trucks are going to need military escorts. They're going to have some kind of spare parts program to keep these things running. And it's going to need to involve your state National Guard, providing security, the state troopers, the sheriff's offices. So people got to work the guys down to wherever else are producing the fuel and refining it to make nations go and are secured. But people running security aren't going to be in their station. People aren't going to be driving trucks if they're not getting paid. And if they're worried about a gang of thugs breaking in the front door and taking mom and the kids when they're away. So you got to have security for the families. You got to offer them a place to stay or to ensure the families are safe, secure, taken care of. And these drivers have incentive to drive because it's going to take a while for all those fuel rods to cool down enough where they can be put the dry castings, the dry cast that they can store them in long term. And so we got a problem there. And most people don't realize the magnitude of that problem. And for that reason, I've been trying to raise awareness to the fact that their grid is in great peril. If it goes down, we can lose 9 out of 10 people in a year. That's the projections from the congressionally mandated Power Grid Defense Task Force.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and why Deagle.com has such alarming numbers.
Yeah, it could be worse than what Deagle not even accounting for the nuclear power, and that's what worries me. You know, I'm a prepper. I can survive. I have a chance to survive if 9 out of 10 people are going to be gone. But with those power plants smoking off, I mean, how the cockroaches survive? I mean, that's just the most horrible thing I can think of. So it may be so bad, and we may have to form militias. Sure, we can keep that stuff going.
Yeah, because let's talk about, Greg, let's talk about the reality here. If there is a grid down situation, say an X50 comes off of the sun and it's almost directly Earth facing, whatever portion of the Earth comes by at the moment of impact it's going to be between 7 and 18 hours, depending on the speed, literally going to fry the grid on that side of the planet during the first impact. And then there'll be subsequent impacts because, as you know, plasma streams pulse. So it'll be like bam, and then it'll reverberate. So it's likely that as the Earth spins, most in different regions, it's going to cause the planet to charge for a long period of time. Back in the Carrington times, the Earth was charged for up to 72 hours. The actual, the aurora was glowing for 3 days. You could read a newspaper in Cuba when the sun set. So it's just think about it. Emergency responders are going to go home and protect their family because, just like you said, it takes 12 to 24 hours before people catch on and the looting begins, because everyone's going to realize in the first day that it's game over. This isn't coming back on, and it's going to be a free. I don't think any of those first responders, how many of them are really going to be there to help? I think it's going to be almost zero. People are going to protect their own belongings, and they're going to start, thinking differently at that moment.
Absolutely. That's why the EMA people have to do a lot of pre-planning to account for this and be able to provide the security that we're going to require to survive. It's going to be a really bad situation if we let our grid go down like that. It could be hardened for about the cost of a single B-2 bomber, at least enough to keep things limping along. And the power grid industry is just fighting this. Now, at the federal level, they've been trying to get legislation passed, but there's always been one key subcommittee member who's always in bed in the pockets of the lobbyists, and he just wouldn't let it get through the subcommittee, to the state level. And that's why I held 2 power grid defense conferences here in Huntsville, Alabama. And that's why I just went a couple Mondays ago to the state capitol, and I met with the director of the state EMA. I met with the director of the National Public Services Commissioner of Alabama, who regulates the power grid. And I met with Special Projects Coordinator for the governor of Alabama. And I met with, there was a member of the Homeland Security there. We've got FBI people who've been involved in this, and quite a few people. We had like 20 people there. A lot of EMA people were there, quite a few of them, because they're really interested in this. They want to know what to do. Now, fortunately, in Alabama, we might actually could profit, because we got such a brain trust in Huntsville, obviously trying to harden the power grid. So I caught their interest, and I told them that, if we even become the first to do this and set the example, that Alabama could be in the forefront and could actually profit our businesses good. You got to talk to whatever your state's language is, whatever it is your politicians respond to, you got to key in on that, and that's how you talk to them. And I handled them. If I was in a different state, I would have found another angle. You find an angle in where you're at. The key thing is survival. And you talk about we want the new dog. And so I got their attention, and throwing rocks at me, which I was surprised for Alabama Power. at that event. We're missing the TVA guys. We're going to take TVA on federal. It's a federal agency that covers several states, including my part of Alabama, North Alabama. By the way, I live. A lot of people don't realize the Tennessee Valley is more in Alabama than anywhere else. And I'm in 8 miles south of the Tennessee border where I live now. I'm on the north side of the Tennessee River by a good distance. So TVA is the biggest power company. They have a lot of nuke plants, and so we're going to work them too, but we're going to work that separately. We've already had good impact with the state of Alabama. So the thing is, you just got to push it. Now, some people think, well, who am I? I can't do anything. Look, if you really care about something, anyone can make a difference. You just got to get out there and learn what it takes, and allow yourself to the right kind of people. I started my own committee. I started our local power grid defense committee when I realized what the peril was, and I contacted several of my friends who I knew would be supportive of this kind of effort, and we got going with it. But you can pull in the people you need to convince your community, and you can go to your state. I've had a lot of help with people like Dr. Peter, Ambassador Cooper. Cooper, he's a big help there. And a lot of, he got the EMA people in his state in South Carolina to go through an exercise of what it would really mean if the grid was down for over, Calvary to come to rescue them from other states, is usually the case. And we can't deal with this. And as a result of that, Duke Power has actually started taking steps to harden their own grid. So, believe it or not, you can have a lot of effectivity. And individuals and groups can accomplish a lot more than people realize. You just got to know what you're doing, believe in it, and get out and push it. And just don't quit. I mean, this is our survival we're talking about. And I want to see the grid secure because we still got a lot of tragedies coming at us with the span solar minimum, with the economic situation in the world, with the political tensions in the world. Our federal government's $20 trillion in debt. How do you expect that to keep rolling? How many people are living off the federal dole right now? Actually, I am. That's why I started my work farm. Working NASA in the daytime. But all that can come to an end real fast. $20 trillion is a huge debt. If the interest rates shoot up, how does the government even serve the interest on the debt? I mean, it's nuts. Can't just keep piling it up and think it's going to be the same, song and dance every day. No. We have a lot of challenges in the future. We have but let's make sure that our ability to survive is not impeded by our new power plants, and hopefully we find some way to keep at least parts of the power grid running. And that's what I'm pushing for. I like to get it to keep it all running, by the way. But I was talking about when a solar coronal mass ejection hits the Earth, it actually move around the magnetic field. When you have a magnetic, that's our defense. But it will ring that whole magnetosphere. That's why you're on the side where it's getting the most storm effect, but it flares up all the way around. The instantaneous effects globally when you get to the direct damage. But like he said, Carrington event, it lasted quite a while, and some of the other solar flares and coronal mass ejections can do that. Now, what he didn't tell you is that our magnetosphere is dropping in fill stream. Our shields are dropping. They're dropping fast. The rate of acceleration of that drop is fast. So we may be susceptible to a far less strong, solar flare than what got us before, coronal mass ejection. It may take a smaller event, could take our grids down, much smaller event. In fact, the 1921 railroad event was a tenth as powerful as the Carrington event. If it hit us today, it would take us down because of our high voltage step up, step down transformers. We didn't have those back in 1921 like we do today, and those would be fried by that event. And as the magnetosphere drops, even something like the event that took out the Quebec hydro event in 1989 to get us. Took out power the grid is vulnerable and get
Greg, let me jump in here. Let me jump in here and give our listeners, we have over 100 people, I think, watching. a quick primer on what's happening with our magnetic field. So what you're looking at is the bow shock. Towards the screen here is this. If a CME comes off the sun, it approaches our bow shock and hits the bow shock. And then the magnetic field lines, they direct the energy into the poles. You see how the red lines wrap around, guys? That directs the CME into our poles, causing that aurora. Now, as Greg was saying, the magnetosphere is waning and it is picking up exponentially since the 1800s. In fact, in just the last decade, it has reduced the same amount in the last 100 years. And it appears as if it is going to continue to reduce to a 0 point around 2035, which means that sometime between now and 2035, the grid is going to be completely fried. Now, as Greg said, we can harden the grid. And in fact, I think Alabama has one of the most hardened grids in the United States. But we're misappropriating money because I believe that the powers that be and the elites are well aware of this shit about to hit. They're preparing to save their own asses rather than ours. How do you feel about that?
But I'm a rude awakening because if they don't take care of us and they all go hide in their hidey holes, I think some people will be driving diesel trucks up to their air vents and pumping carbon monoxide in. So I think they'll have a very rude they'll be running outdoors and then people be picking them off one by one and then take over their hole.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. They're cowards, and we are going to come and get them. What else will we do?
What else do we do? Well, let's try to get the problem solved up front if we can, but we got to move fast. The time is not on our side, and Congress has known about this for over a dozen years and won't do anything. And we're trying to get the states to do something. A few of them are doing it, but a lot of them are under the same lobbies. They're trying to stop them. So we got our hands full trying to get the grid hardened. But in the meantime, so join with us, do everything you can. I got another website that Diamond, I don't know if you pulled that up or I don't think so, powergriddefense.org. It's got links to a lot of other organizations. You can join these organizations and you can read the materials there to bring you up to speed on the power grid, the aspects of the defense of it, give you some ideas of what you can do. Or you can always start a group like I did. And that's the worm farm there. So there's a lot we can do in this regard. But aside from that, we all do need to prepare ourselves and grow our own food as much as we can and learn skills that'll be applicable if we don't have electric power. There it is, Power Grid Defense, Power Grid Apparel. There's a lot of links. There's a whole page of links on there somewhere. But this website set up mostly for this conference we were running. We just had one a couple months ago. It probably hasn't been updated, but you'll get a good idea for who was there. Let's say I'm meeting one of you. David Blunt says, I don't like diesel exhaust fluid. Yeah, you wouldn't want to come in your air vent either, would you, David, if you were one of the elites hiding down there. Anyway, so, but anyway, so the worms are great. If you're going to grow a garden, you got to be able to get the compost and the nutrients your plants need to survive. And worms break down anything. So they're one of the best fast shortcuts to composting you'll find. And they make the best compost you'll ever have. So the worm farm is great if you want to garden yourself. Buy your own worms, or at least know where there's a worm farm close to you. But I'd suggest start your own worm bin. David said he's grown some of it, and that's what you can do. And I highly recommend that. And also, you can try a lot of different things. Now, I do grow microgreens. I grow them in the house, but I need electric power to do that. I can grow them in my greenhouse without electric power. I've got an aquaponics system in my greenhouse. I've just built a greenhouse, a 75-foot long, 24-foot wide, and I got a 64 by 8-foot aquaponics bed in. I'm going to build another one in a few months. and I got three 330-gallon tanks, water tanks, with fish in them. And I got an old system just on the other side of this wall that's 10 years old where I've been doing all this. Now I've got backup generators. I could make, in fact, I got two identical if I need spare parts. And one runs off either propane or gasoline. And I can also make wood gas if I need to. There's plenty of trees around here to keep things running as long as I got power. So I can keep our water system running for a reasonable amount of time. Eventually, if the power's down too long, I'll just take and put worm castings and compost where the water bed is there. So that's the strategy. And I've got a lot of glass and other things. I can build a greenhouse that's not a hoop house covered with plastic like my current one. So I've been collecting windows, glass doors for a long time. I've got a bunch of that stuff. So there's a lot of options. You can build. Learn how to survive. Learn what plants you can eat out in the wilderness. What's edible, what's not. I learned that there's something growing here that's edible in the plant world, maybe except in January. Chickweed is a weed that grows here in the wintertime. It's edible. You don't want to keep much of it. But if you kill an animal, eat the organ meat because that has a lot of nutrients that start in the muscle, the stuff that we normally eat. Predator, carnivore, gets its full spectrum of nutrients because it eats the full nutrients. Some things we don't eat. We don't eat the hair. But you should try to eat a wider spectrum of things like that. Nuts. Nuts are full of nutrition for a squirrel. I know we're not squirrels, but they store for a long time, so nuts are a great option. There we go. Yeah, we had Dr. Peter Van Surprise. He also had a talk on the Space Force. As I mentioned, I've been a space advocate and worked both civil space with NASA programs and also defense also. So I've been actually been in the Army and worked for the Army and actually worked for the Army space program. Been Fort Greene, Alaska, of all places. So I've been where it's cold. And up there where Diamond's at right now, when the Carrington event hit, miners were actually got up early in the morning and started cooking for breakfast because they thought the sunrise was coming. Look at them. And started cooking their eggs probably at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. So you had telegraphs all you had back in Carrington days. And telegraph lines caught fire. If you had now I hear you sound a lot better. If you had an event like that today, a lot more power lines all over the country, crisscrossing everything. If those things caught on fire, you can be setting forest fires and all kind of fires worldwide. In the Carrington event, we had fires started inside the telegraph station, some sparks coming off the equipment. Just think about this though. In the old telegraph station, you probably had a hole in the wall with an insulator that came through, and that was it. And there wires run through the walls, through all the walls and all the rooms, everywhere.
Yeah.
What happens when they get too hot?
Greg, there is evidence. There's evidence that 11,500 years ago, during the last that the entire northern hemisphere lit on fire. Now, many people in the last decade have purported that this is cosmogenic, it's a comet or an asteroid that entered the atmosphere and broke up. But it is estimation that this is only the beginning. These cosmic events, these asteroids do enter in large numbers and radiated plasma discharges, which light forests on fire. So I think that our grid is only going to add insult to injury and make the forest fires worse. So what we're looking for is ice in the near future, unfortunately. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the smoke of fire would create a nuclear winter by itself if you have massive forest fires. And that would just plummet the temperatures even colder. So what you're talking about is the initiation of the younger Dryas period. The Ice Age looked like nothing to give away, and suddenly it got bitter cold and dry, and the climate was terrible. there's evidence, if you look at what's called the Carolina Bays or Carolina craters, and you can see them all over the Carolinas. There's a whole bunch of lakes. They're all oblong, oval shaped, and the axes of them all point back in the same direction. There's several lakes around other areas of the country, and they all point to somewhere in northern Canada or somewhere in Canada. So it's believed that a comet hit the Laurentide ice sheet, which was the ice sheet that we had in North America at the time, and scattered that stuff everywhere. So if that's true, just imagine what they believe is that in an event like that, also a lot of stuff gets kicked up, and all this material that gets kicked up comes back down and like little meteorites. And so you got big ones that form the Carolina, heat the atmosphere up. All that stuff coming through is going to make the atmosphere. You're going to have major electrostatic discharges. A lot of electrical effects be involved in that. So there is a lot to be concerned with. And my phone died, so I'm going to switch my little computer back. But in any event, here, of course, I got two computers running here, so well, a Microsoft phone, Microsoft had reset, so I lost mine.
Well, we're starting to see here a little bit, Greg. So it's been a pleasure chatting with you tonight. And I think that we could have some amazing conversations about, you know, hillbilly preparedness, wood gasifiers, and biodiesel, and all kind of great topics. Later date. This was a great introduction to your worm farm. Guys, if you're listening out there, check out his worm farm page. It is over at greengregswormfarm.com. Buy some worms. If you buy, if we sell 100 pounds, I bet you Greg will send me a pound. Is that a deal?
There you go. So that was 100 pounds. There you go.
So do you have any final words for our listeners before we say goodnight?
Well, I'm going to say that you can take care of yourself, do what you can, grow your own food. Build raised beds are a great way to do it. Worms work for it real well. Just learn the aspects of gardening. Organic gardening is best. And join up with whatever groups you can to protect the power grid. And so you can help protect your society, look into civil defense. There's many things you can do along that order. And if you want to have a worm bed, how many worms do you need? A pound per every square foot of surface area. That's the rule of thumb to go by for the worm bed. For your garden, I'd say if you got a foot deep compost, a pound for every 100 square feet. Or because you put worms directly in your garden. But since most people run about 6 inches, about a pound for every 200 square feet. So just figure out your garden space. If you want to put them in a garden, if you want to put them in a bin, a pound per square foot.
Greg, it's a pleasure. Yeah, Greg, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Guys, thanks for watching. Sorry about the lag time, but there's nothing I could do about it. When you're off grid and you're using a satellite, you get what you get. And we're trying to do our best to get this information out there, practical things that you can do. Now, I don't recommend really voting, but I do recommend voting with your dollar at the store and also pressuring your corrupt politicians to harden the grid. That is the number one thing you can do. Any parting words on that?
Yeah, Daryl Conan said worms don't taste very good, though. Actually, red worms have a nutty flavor to them. Some people clean them out, dry them, grind them up, put them in cookies. It's a nut substitute.
Boom!
So when you get really how's that for a parting shot?
Okay, Greg. Thanks for joining us. And
all right,
thanks.
Appreciate it.
No problem. I'm probably still live, and you're just looking at my grill because I just shut down the Google Hangouts. Guys, I apologize for the crappiness of the live stream. More weed. Okay, got it. We're about to hang out again. Okay, 97 of you are in here. Any questions before we go? Hello? Boom! Can you hear me? Welcome to the barn. I'll show some things before we go. Hang tight. Yes. You wish you had smell-o-vision. Yes, you do. Oh shit. Grab me your scar. Let me get back in the chat. Top chat. Yes, yes, yes. Try some wedding cake. I wish I had smoke-o-vision. Any serious questions before I shut this down? I got to make an update, guys. 82, you're falling off. I'll show you this little beauty. That's a mini. Oh my goodness. Now these are crossbreeds, most of them. Lemon Diesel and Glass Slipper and other shit. Everyone's invited. All right, guys. Peace. Thanks for coming.